About a month ago, ButcherBox reached out in an email and asked if I wanted to be in their affiliate program. Initially, I was thinking, sure, I love meat. And when you join up as an affiliate, they actually send you a free box so that you can get acclimated to how they do things and sample their meats. Pretty cool. But I almost responded, yeah, let's do this. And after thinking about it for a minute, a little voice popped in my head and said, hey dummy, your very good friends own a butcher shop a few miles down the road. And so what turned out to be really interesting timing, because my buddies at Gordon's Butcher and Market in Erie, Pennsylvania had just started coming up with their own curated meat boxes. So that leads me to ButcherBox versus box from a real butcher. I don't have the box from Gordon's anymore, but you'll see it in the B-roll. So for clarity's sake, I purchased this ButcherBox. This is $150, and I purchased the mixed meat box, which came with 8 to 11 pounds of chicken, pork, and beef. I wanted to sample kind of all three. And I didn't reply to ButcherBox because I didn't want to be disingenuous if I didn't have any plan on marketing for them. So I'd rather pay for the box up front and sample the meat that way to compare it to my buddies at Gordon's. Now, ButcherBox from time to time runs these little promos where you get free ground beef or free bacon or free chicken, whatever it is. We all know it's not free. It's built into the price of the box. But when I ordered this mixed box, it came with 4 pounds of grass-fed beef. I actually really prefer grass-fed beef when it comes to ground beef. I think it tastes better. I think it cooks better. I just like it more. And I also really like and appreciate ButcherBox's origin story. It's a pretty cool story. I'm not gonna get into that today because it's more about the meats and everything, but I'll link to that in the description below. Check it out if you want to. And my buddies at Gordon's gave me 3 boxes, and those boxes were the sausage box. I call it the sausage party box. They gave me the prime box, which comes with 4 prime 1 pound each New York strip steaks or ribeye steaks. You can select which ones. And in that box, you also get homemade compound butters from Chef Firestone, whose restaurant is conveniently located right inside Gordon's Butcher and Market. So that's pretty cool. And the third box that they gave me is the Prime Sampler box, which is my absolute favorite after cooking all this stuff. And that comes with 4 of their premium pork chops, which I'll get into later. They're the best pork chops you'll ever have. It comes with 4 just about 1 pound each certified Angus New York strip steaks. I love certified Angus beef. It also comes with 2 pounds of their house-made bacon, which will blow your mind when you try this bacon. It's so different than store-bought bacon. And it also comes with a 2-pound chuck roast. So you kind of get a good mix of beef and pork and bacon, and you're just gonna really like it. So we'll get into the finer details of those boxes in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about what I really think about ButcherBox and the box that I was sent. I actually really liked and appreciated the entire buying process on their website. It was nice, it was easy. The one thing I didn't like about the buying process is that you really had to basically give them your email to find out what kind of box you wanted to build before you could build it. I really don't like that kind of gateway kind of buying process, but after that, it was pretty good. And then after I purchased the box, as it was being shipped, ButcherBox would send emails and text messages about different recipes and different things to do with your box and how to take your meat out of the box so that you know exactly what to do when the box came. I found that very helpful, and I think that most people would as well. When it came, it's pretty unmistakable. It's pretty well branded, so all of your neighbors will know that you got a ButcherBox. And all of the packaging inside is recyclable, so which is really nice. And all the meats come frozen. If you've tried ButcherBox before and you did it in the summertime, I'd actually really like to hear from you to see if the meats arrived indeed frozen in the summertime as well. Now, ButcherBox only uses grass-fed beef for their ground beef and for their steaks. So that's something to really note. If you've never had grass beef, there are some very specific ways that you need to prepare it. And I'll go into that a little bit later on. So it came with 3 pounds of chicken breasts, which were actually very good. It came with 2 pounds of heritage breed pork chops. And it came with 2 around 10 ounce each grass-fed New York strip steaks and 4 6-ounce sirloin steaks, all grass-fed as well. Overall, the packaging was very nice. The meats looked very nice. And my favorites in the box were actually the ground beef and the chicken. The New York strips were good. They're very small, but in this box, and I think in the rest of their boxes, they keep them to around a 10-ounce size. The sirloin steaks I thought were actually better than the New York strips, which is not usually what I find when it comes to a corn-fed steak. I was actually most disappointed in the pork chops, which kind of upset me because I was actually most excited about the pork chops out of the whole box. They were actually very tough, and I really cooked them on the medium rare side of medium. And that's the first time I've ever cooked heritage breed pork, so maybe you cook it a little bit differently. So I would say the steaks were okay. The chicken was very good, and the ground beef was excellent. Like I said, I prefer grass-fed ground beef. Now, would I buy this box again? Probably not. But that's me. I just want to give you a little bit of info on grass-fed steaks. Take them out of the box and leave them in the package that they come to, that vacuum sealed package, and let them thaw in your fridge. And you want to really let those steaks wet age in that package for at least 12 days. Just let them sit in your fridge for 12 days. That's going to help them become a little bit more tender. Grass-fed steaks are notoriously a little bit chewy, which is fine. The flavor is usually fantastic, very beefy. After you let that sit in the fridge for 12 to 16 days and let that just wet age in the package, then take it out, let it temper. With a corn-fed steak, I like to salt it at least a couple hours ahead of time and kind of do what's called a dry brine. Draw that moisture out, and then that moisture brings the salt back in through the steak. But I actually don't recommend doing that for a grass-fed steak. I find that I get a more tender and juicier steak when it comes to grass-fed if I salt throughout the cooking process and just before, rather than a couple hours ahead of time. So that's how I cook grass-fed steaks, and they usually come out pretty good. Like I said, I like the sirloins more than I like the New York strips in here. Now let's talk about the 3 boxes that my local butcher sent me. And yes, I want to emphasize local. They are just a few miles down the road, about 20 minutes away. If you're not lucky enough to have a local butcher where you live, you're really going to like and appreciate what you get from these boxes, because now you kind of can have a local butcher in your neighborhood. You just order it and then it comes to your door. So you don't get to go there and experience it. But when it comes to their deli meats, when it comes to their steaks, when it comes to their chicken, the beef is all ground in-house, the sausage is all made in-house. Those particular things are very important and I think make a huge flavor difference. Their steaks are all cut in-house too from subprimals, so you have very skilled workers cutting steaks, which is a really important part about buying a steak, is the actual cut of the meat itself. Now I'm not talking cut like sirloin or ribeye or the type where it comes from on the cow, but actually how it's cut. And it makes a big difference to how your steak tastes and cooks. Now, the sausage box is actually named after the original proprietor of Gordon's Butcher and Market. It's called Wunsch's Sausage Sampler Box. I call it the sausage party box. And that box costs $50 and you get 2 of all of the following types of sausages, all made in-house at Gordon's. Hot Italian, sweet Italian, Polish, Cajun, ghost cheddar, and the breakfast blend. The ghost cheddar is definitely one of my favorites. It is just spicy enough to go hello, but not over spicy that it's gonna blow your head off or anything like that. When you try the house-made breakfast sausage, you will taste an intense difference in flavor, and it is so much better. So if you're having a big party, maybe a sausage party, the sausage party is a pretty good value for $50. You get all of these different types, and you can add more to it if you want to. Now let's talk about the Prime box, the Prime steak box. It's $125, and you get 4 1-pound steaks. So 1.5 inches thick on a New York strip, about inch and a quarter thick on a ribeye. And when we're talking about prime beef, 12% of the beef in the world is actually graded prime. So as far as rarity goes, prime beef is pretty rare. It is priced much more expensively. So when you're looking at $125 for 4 steaks, plus those homemade butters that Chef Firestone makes and adds to it, it's a pretty good value considering the average price per pound of a prime New York strip is anywhere in the neighborhood from $18 to $24, depending on where you live. Or a ribeye is gonna be a little bit more expensive. Typically, for a prime ribeye, you're gonna be around $20 to $26 per pound for prime ribeye. Now this depends on where you live, so your mileage may vary. I'd actually really like to know, so what does prime ribeye and what does prime New York strip cost where you live? If you don't have that available to you, tell me that as well. But these steaks were delicious and they were so good. I mean, you really can't go wrong with prime beef. If you like prime steaks and you wanna give that a try, that's a good option for you for $125. And you get those custom butters to try yourself as too. Mine came with a garlic herb one and a truffle butter. Yeah, the truffle butter is my favorite. So you can't go wrong. Amazing, amazing steaks, all hand cut at my local butcher. Now this leads me to what I think is probably the best bang for your buck, my favorite of the 3 boxes, which is the Prime Sampler Box. Now this box comes with 4 premium pork chops. Now I made a video about these pork chops a while back. I really don't think you can taste a better pork chop than these ones. You can't even overcook these ones. If you overcook it, they're still amazing. So what they do with these pork chops is as they're trimming the pork chops, they take all of the fat and then they marinate that in like a lemon herb kind of marinade, and then they inject that fat back into the pork chops. Yeah, you heard me right. Fat injected pork chops. They are incredible, incredible. So they're marbled like prime steaks. And probably my favorite steaks to buy dollar for dollar, that comes with certified Angus strip steaks. Now these are about 1 pound each as well. I think certified Angus steaks taste amazing. They're extremely beefy, a little bit more on the beefy side than prime even. You know, it's really just personal preference here when it comes to the steaks you like, but for the amount that certified Angus costs versus even prime, certified Angus can cost somewhere between $12 and $14 a pound. So you're getting half the price in some places of what a prime steak costs. And when you look at the marbling of these certified Angus steaks, these look like prime steaks. I just don't think you can go wrong. So in this box comes 4 of those steaks and they are amazing. I mentioned the bacon a little bit ago, so it comes with 2 pounds of their house-made bacon. My 3-year-old does not eat bacon, and I've tried to offer it before. Just a few days ago, she actually smelled it cooking and she was like, "Can I try that bacon?" So I gave her a tiny little piece, and she has been obsessed with this bacon ever since. So now my 3-year-old calls it magic bacon. The taste difference between that and something like a Sugardale or something that's like bought at a store and mass produced in some factory, the difference is massive. The 2 pound chuck roast. You're gonna get a chuck roast that has a really good fat to meat ratio. Chuck roasts are some of the most versatile and most cost efficient ways to feed your family beef. The meats also come pre-frozen, so they are individually vacuum sealed from Gordon's, just like the ButcherBox ones, and also pre-frozen. If you're thinking about ButcherBox, maybe try one of these boxes from my local butcher. They're offering 15% off for your first box coming from my channel. I'm not getting any commission on this. They're just my friends, and I really like to support their business. So use coupon code BEERGER and you'll save 15% off your first box. So all of your orders over $100 on Gordon's website, gordonsmarket.com, will be free shipping. And ButcherBox was also free shipping. I should mention that too. And these aren't the only 3 boxes that Gordon's offers. They have their summer grillin' box, which comes with burgers and hot dogs. They also have their Greek dog box, which comes with, sorry, my baby chicken's in the other room and they're squawking right now. It comes with a local restaurant's Greek sauce and Smith hot dogs. So you check out their website. They've got a ton of different offerings, and you can also add, just like ButcherBox, you can add other things. So if you want to add boar's head deli meats or cheeses to your box, yeah, boar's head. You ever had it? If you haven't, I strongly suggest it. It is a different level of deli. Or if you want to add New York strips, or if you want to add ribeyes, or if you want to add porterhouses, or other roasts, or chicken breasts, chicken thighs, all of that stuff is butchered right there in-house. So it's pretty great, and you can add that to any of these curated boxes to fill them up a little bit more, and the pricing is what local pricing is here. You're not being charged an upcharge just because they're shipping it. Get a box, add a bunch of other stuff to it. In my opinion, they're gonna get mad at me for saying this, but add a bunch of stuff to it for this discount and you'll be off and running and tasting some very delicious, really good meats. So like I said, use coupon code BEERGER and you'll save 15% off your first box at gordonsmarket.com. I would really love to know, have you tried ButcherBox? Have you tried any other ones? There's a whole bunch of other ones. Let me know in the comments which ones you've tried, what you thought about them, what you liked, what you didn't like, all that stuff. Let's talk about it down below. Did you find that they were good value, convenience-wise versus what you get in the box, things like that? And as always, I appreciate you. I'll see you on the next one. And on the next one, we're gonna be digging in the dirt. Stay tuned for that.